Trump administration recently announced a deal aimed at lowering the cost of GLP-1 weight loss drugs. So, will they become more affordable for the millions of people who currently don't have access to Wegovy and Zepbound? Joining us this morning to discuss that issue is Hartford Healthcare's Dr. Joseph St. Pierre, a medical weight loss specialist with St. Vincent's Medical Center. Doctor, great seeing you this morning. Now, we understand that your office is getting a lot of calls from patients in terms of savings. How much are we talking about here at this point?
Yeah, thanks, Keith. Yeah. So this is a pretty major announcement last week because the biggest issue with these medications is the actual cost. When we're talking about just 2 years ago, retail prices between $1,000 and $1,300. Depending on the program you utilize right now, you could roughly find one of these injectables for roughly $500 a month. What was interesting about last week's announcement was the Trump administration is looking to lower the retail price from that 500 initially down to 350, and then in roughly about 2 years down to 249. So you're looking at pretty significant price changes just in this very short period of time, which I think then will begin to open the door for more fixed income, lower income opportunities to be able to utilize these medications.
Yeah, that moves me to my next question. Do you feel that this will have a real significant impact for people who are struggling to get access to these drugs right now due to the cost?
Yeah, I think this is probably the first or largest meaningful change with these medications that I've actually probably seen over the 6-7 years I've been kind of doing this. I do think with potential changes to costs within Medicare and the potential pilot program that's coming, I think we'll begin to see a lot less struggles to get these meds, and we'll be able to really begin to make a dent within the treatment within obesity in the United States.
How will the government price negotiations impact patients with insurance plans?
Yeah, this is actually really interesting because I think some of the background to this spawns back to the Inflation Reduction Act, which allowed the government to go back and begin to negotiate pricing on certain meds within Medicare. And it had already been recognized that in the second round price negotiation, semaglutide, which is the active ingredient for Wegovy and Ozempic, we're going to be in that actual negotiation. So I suspect a lot of the announcement and the driving force behind some of this probably was at that point. Usually what's going to end up happening is once the federal government begins to negotiate these prices, you're going to see a lot of pharmacy benefits management, a lot of different insurance plans. I think they're going to be able to start to offer these meds, not just at a discounted price, but a willingness to be able to have coverage for these meds, because right now, a lot of policies these are not even covered benefits. So I think there's a door that is now opening that's really going to broadly get these medications to a lot more individuals.
Doctor, final question real quickly. What percentage of Americans do you think could really benefit by using these types of drugs?
Yeah, so the obesity rate in the United States sits roughly around, I believe it's about 42% right now. And there's another 25-ish% that are overweight with potential comorbidities. So you're looking at a potential 60 to 70% of Americans that this is going to really begin to make a big difference for.
All right, Dr. St. Pierre, we appreciate your time this morning. Great information.